Okay, so now we want to look at some aggregate supply stuff. And the question really comes, the AS curve really tells you how the supply of output changes, responds to changes in the price level. So we know our simple production function approach. Y output is some function of N, which is labour, and capital, which will just hold fixed in the short run. So under bars being fixed. We have a concept of the marginal product of labour, MPN, which is just the derivative of output with respect to the input of labour, which is greater than 0, and that its second derivative is negative. So, every guy gives you something, but less and less with each extra person you hire. What do employers do? Well, firms hire up until it makes no sense for them not to. So up to the point where the wage is equal to what they get from each guy, so price times MPN, so the value of what each guy produces, which we can readjust or rearrange to be the real wage, W over P, is equal to the marginal product of labour. Okay, so they keep hiring up until the real wage, W over P, is equal to what that guy gives in terms of output. In this model, we always make assumptions about price and wage flexibility. So, in the short run, we assume that prices, or most prices, are going to respond to supply and demand shocks. Now, wage is just another type of price, it's the price of labour, and we make an exception of this, which is based on kind of the real world for once. Wages are viewed as being inflexible in the short run. If there's some shock, you don't go in immediately and renegotiate your contract with your employer. So we say they're sticky or inflexible. Or in the real world, they're usually negotiated for periods of 1 to 3 years for all sorts of reasons. So what does this let us do? Well, let's look at the labour market if we have sticky real or sticky nominal wages. So we have W under bar. So this is fixed prices. Other prices can respond, and that gives us some equilibrium labour supply and demand. Right? This is just like any market for micro. What happens if price increases? So if P increases, what's going to happen? Well, the bottom part of this is going to get bigger. This is stuck by our assumption. So overall, this is going to fall. So we're going to go down to W bar over P1. And what happens there? Well, at that level, you've increased labour demand. Okay? So labour demand goes up from N0 to N1. So what does this mean? Well, if this labour is an input into output, and we know, or we're assuming, that output goes up with labour, that means we're going to have some positive relationship between P and Y. P is underlying the increase in N, and an increase in N leads to an increase in Y. So we can draw a short-run aggregate supply curve like this. There's upward sloping in P and Y. In the long run, well, in the long run we're all dead, as the cliche goes, but also in the long run, nominal wages can adjust to restore that labour market equilibrium to where it was before. And if the labour market equilibrium is restored to where it was before, there's no change. So in the long run, aggregate supply is just a vertical line at some Y star or Yn.